I just left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son, for the release for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor, he wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk.
Today's court hearing involving Durk revealed that his effort to secure an early release is gaining traction. The development was first announced last week. On Tuesday, January 6th, the Chicago rapper's legal team filed a request for a status hearing, arguing that Durk has been held in a special housing unit, SHU, without due process since August 29th. 2025, Durk has reportedly been confined to a small jail solely large enough to fit a bed, toilet, and sink for 23 hours a day. According to the filing, he has no access to commissary, is allowed only one phone call per month, and is prohibited from receiving in-person visits. He was initially placed in SHU as punishment for allegedly possessing an Apple Watch. However, his attorneys state that the infraction has yet to be reviewed by the Unit Discipline Committee, a process that typically occurs within 5 working days. The situation has reportedly raised concern among other inmates in Durk's cell block, some of whom contacted individuals close to his case.
They got Lil Durk in a hole for basically some BS, and right now we're going to show the paperwork. They saying that he was caught with a cell phone, and basically that's not true. They trying to keep him in a hole, do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever, but they're trying to make a point because they saying that me and him is privileged and we got so many things going on, and it's a lot of BS.
However, during Durk's court hearing today, it was revealed that he is no longer being held in solitary confinement after 5 months. On Thursday, January 15th, DXL confirmed that the Chicago rapper has been returned to the general population at the Los Angeles Detention Center, where he had been housed in a special housing unit since August. Following the update, Durk's team shared a message on his Instagram story on his behalf, reflecting his current state of mind. "Crazy how you gotta wait until it's dark out to see who's really with you," the message read, suggesting that Durk feels isolated during this time. The DJ Academics also weighed in on the situation, claiming that many rappers have distanced themselves from Durk since his incarceration.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the went on tour with, did songs with, called you they brother, they twin. I wouldn't be surprised if these rappers try to India. These are down low and dirty. And I think this is what, I think Durk right now is thinking that, man, I thought I was just with a whole bunch of real. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And I feel bad for Durk. When King Slime got locked up, there was a whole parade. Free him! Free him! Free him! Oh, nah. Everybody would post details of the case. How is this humane? How could they do this? Yo, free... not smart. No, free Slime. Durk got locked up. They might give that half a bar. Free Smirk. And they moved the on. I'll give credit. I have heard some of these guys have sent lawyers. Good for that, but Smirk is in there, man, realizing the world don't stop spinning because you locked up.
Because so many people have distanced themselves from him, DJ Academics went on to explain why Durk may never be the same rapper if he is released from jail.
Let me tell y'all, the Durk y'all loved when he was free, if he gets back out again, he'll never be that Durk. I'm going to tell you why. He done learned a lot of lessons. This is me assuming. Nothing he's told me. But the things that he did for others, y'all know when he came on my podcast, right? And he said, man, yo, Gunna's a snitch. I can't Gunna. Man, that. I don't care. I love Thug. He said that because Thug told him. Yo, what Durk is realizing, Durk is a great soldier, but nobody looked at him like a leader. Durk was willing to move on behalf of the people he's loyal to when they get locked up. When he locked up, they might drop him as a bar in a song, but
Durk will never go back to jail for one specific reason, which is his jail situation. Because with him being locked in the special unit for over 4 months, he might be able to get house arrest. But to understand when his release date is, it's important to know what just happened to him inside court, because Durk's court hearings have started, and he wanted to go straight to the trial. The News wrote, Durk's co-defendants, D, Boogie, and Brown Eyes agreed with the government to push the trial back 5 months to May 4th. But Durk didn't agree and wants the trial to begin as scheduled on January 7th. The prosecutors were quick to respond to this with a message saying, Durk's trial. Prosecutors say they have several cooperating witnesses who will testify that he was the real organizer of the passings. As the prosecutors are basically saying they don't care when the trial starts because they have the snitches and witnesses to prove Durk was involved. Following this, the judge came back with his decision to delay the trial, when it announced, Durk's trial has been pushed back to the spring. The trial date for Durk and his co-defendants is now scheduled for May 4th, with a pre-trial conference slated to happen on April 13th. But other changes are happening to Durk on the inside, because in the court hearing, people reported that he looked much thinner and he cut his dreads. But this same hearing had the judge announcing he denied motions to dismiss the case for vagueness. A motion for a bill of particulars was taken under advisement, and the motion to dismiss count 4 was taken under advisement. But a lawyer from the courtroom spoke on what this really means for Durk.
A criminal lawyer, and I just learned that the rap artist Lil Durk just had his motion to dismiss his for hire case denied. To be honest, I'm not that surprised. Let me tell you guys something. There's only 2 ways that Lil Durk is rocking out of that federal courtroom on 2 feet. A jury of 12 people says that he is not guilty, or President Trump pardons him. There's no other way that Durk is walking out of that court free. That judge is not going to be dismissing any key evidence. He's not going to be dismissing any motions. He's not going to do anything that significantly helps Lil Durk walk out of that courtroom without having a trial. Now, how and why am I so sure of this? Well, here's the first thing I want to tell you. Most federal judges used to be federal prosecutors, exact prosecutors that are prosecuting Durk. A lot of judges used to stand in that very position. Federal prosecutors can be very biased people, and very rarely, once they put on that black robe and become a judge, do they get rid of those biases, okay? That judge very likely probably thinks that Durk is guilty. He just can't be the one they actually say.
However, it's worth noting that Durk's legal team has been relentless in its efforts to secure his release on bond, so he doesn't have to remain in jail while awaiting trial. Reports suggest that statements from Durk's father played a role in these efforts. Now, on their third attempt, Durk's attorneys have presented a bond proposal so substantial that many believe the judge may have little reason to deny it.
This is my last no jumper. Durk Torre told me I wasn't supposed to come back up here with that last.
Now look what happened to him.
That man got kids. You talking about look what happened to him.
Definitely not happy about him.
I wouldn't be happy if you go to jail, Adam, because I know you got daughter. Break down.
There's multiple people who are no longer there for their kids as a result of that Durk allegedly called in.
Until they put that on black and white, sir. Stop throwing stuff on a black man who's trying to do something right for the community right now.
The feds have already put out a lot of information about this.
You don't have to put it out. You don't have to put it out. So this is a major platform.
You're not the boss of me. We talk about rap on here. I think it is well within our jurisdiction to talk about the fact
that what type of police
has been alleged to have ordered them.
This
free smirk though.
Free smirk. But also maybe
police platform. This some police.
Just sit down for a little and decide, hey, maybe I'm not anybody else.
We don't have no proof that we don't.
However, it was later revealed in court that the credibility of the cooperating witness is now being questioned. Reports suggest the witness may have misled federal investigators, raising the possibility that Durk could ultimately be found not guilty. Court documents indicate that the witness changed their account initially claiming there was no bounty involved, before later alleging that one did exist. Many initially speculated that the informant was DD, but that has since been ruled out as DD is not cooperating against Durk. At this stage, D appears to be making every effort to distance himself from the case entirely.
Just left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son for the release for the 3rd time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor. He wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice. So he listened to all the evidence, and he's going to give a ruling in the next few days about what his position is for the bond. But we were very pleased at how it turned out. So continue, family, friends, and fans, continue to keep us in your prayers, and we thank you. And inshallah, God willing, this be victorious for us, that we have a good ruling in our favor.
Beyond the charges tied to hit that killed Lil Baby, Prosecutors are also alleging that Durk was involved in a separate attempt on Quando Rondo at a gas station in Georgia. Authorities claim they have surveillance footage and witness testimony suggesting Durk was behind the incident. Court filings even reference lyrics from one of Durk's songs, quoting the line, "They on my page like, slide for Vaughn, I know they trolling me." In a later podcast appearance, Durk reportedly said, "For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more," which prosecutors argue is significant. They point out that the song was released before the hit on Lil PAB. While the podcast episode came out afterward around the same time, fans had been urging Durk to slide for Vaughn. Prosecutors claim this shows Durk acknowledging that the calls for retaliation had stopped once the attack occurred. What's even more controversial is that authorities initially attempted to use different lyrics against Durk, including the line, "Told me they got an addy, they got the location. Go look on the news, see your son screaming." Prosecutors argue that the lyric mirrors how Quando allegedly reacted to the attack, a claim that has sparked intense debate over whether Durk's music is being unfairly used as evidence against him.
Life by basically saying he's guilty of for hire, and the only thing that, like, yes, some of these things look suspect. Why'd you go there? Why are these people going there? Why'd you send this message? But nothing. There's no message that they got that says where Durk says, "Y'all that Quando yet?" Nothing says that.
You missing the point. Okay. They got a witness already cooperating on that. Been had one. We just ain't seen what they said. It's 3 years. One of the cooperating.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's co-conspirator too.
I don't know. You don't need too much more than that. One of the is cooperating. Then in the paperwork, you got the conversation. They say they had it in and out. The other 2 was figuring out how they getting paid.
However, Durk's attorney later spoke publicly about the case, firmly dismissing the charges as entirely baseless.
And that's what Didi did. He's basically saying all this evidence y'all got against Durk got nothing to do with me. Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed. And I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk. Because one of the main connective tissue to this conspiracy is saying that Durk told Didi to hire. Didi's saying, I ain't get told to hire nobody. And I ain't hiring nobody. What are you talking about? Why would I hire someone? That's his.
Rumors are circulating in the streets that Durk may have backdoored King Von, allegedly motivated by their ongoing legal issues. The two reportedly face charges for allegedly robbing a man and firing a weapon multiple times. Surprisingly, just a few months after King Von's death, the charges against Durk were dropped following a private settlement that